Hello, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about South Korea and how we here in the US compare culturally. Alright, so here's some general information about South Korea. It's officially called the Republic of Korea, and it has Japan to the right, India to the left, North Korea directly above it, and Taiwan to the southeast. Its population is over 51 million people. Korean is the most popular language. 5 popular religions all live in harmony. Approximately 890,000 immigrants come to the US. And the dominant culture in South Korea is influenced by China and Buddhism. South Korea's population is over 51 million people. About 81.7% of that population is urban and lives in the city. The median age is about 41.3 years old, and per square mile, there's about 1,368 people. So, on a list of the most populous countries, South Korea is listed as 28. And since 1957, the population growth has been decreasing. This year, it's down to 0.34. And those 51 million people that live in South Korea makes equal to 0.67% of the world's population. Approximately 56% of South Korea's population does not identify with a religion. However, the other 44% that does identify with a religion follows either Christianity, Buddhism, Confucianism, Islam, or shamanism.
In this slide, as you can see, the biggest difference between the scores of the United States and South Korea is between individualism and long-term orientation. Although these two countries scored very different on long-term orientation and individualism, they happen to score very similar in terms of masculinity and power distance. South Korea would have trouble adjusting to these 6 scales due to the following. South Korea would not have difficulty adjusting to these 4 scales due to the following. Since South Korea is a collectivistic culture, South Korean immigrants would have much difficulty adjusting to the individualistic society found in the United States. South Korean immigrants would have difficulty adjusting to the short-term orientation found in the United States. This is simply because South Korean immigrants tend to be more long-term oriented. South Korea would have difficulty adjusting to the confrontational style found in the United States because South Korea tends to avoid conflict more so than the US. South Korean immigrants would have difficulty adjusting to a trusting scale that is more task-based because in their culture, their scale of trust has more to do with relationship-based, meaning that they tend to have more focus on relationships outside of the workplace, as compared to the US, which is the opposite. In South Korea, their communication style is high context, as compared to the US, which is low context. This could be because the US is a much younger society with much more cultures and diversities, whereas South Korea is much older and typically has one primary culture. Since South Korea is more hierarchical and less egalitarian, they would have a difficult time adjusting to the United States society, which is more equality-based and egalitarian-based. South Korea is more of a feminine country in the fact that they work to survive, whereas the United States society is more of a masculine country, and they work to better themselves and better the things that they have. Since South Korea and the United States scored very similar and that there was only a 20-point difference on the power distance scale, they would have less difficulty adjusting to each other's societies. Since the United States scored about the middle between indirect and direct negative feedback, there's not much of a difference between their society and the society found in South Korea, which is scored closer towards indirect negative feedback. South Korea's society is consensual based, and the United States society lies in the middle between consensual based and top down. Therefore, there's a lot of flexibility in the United States society towards either one.
So I think it's safe to say that South Korea and the US have fairly different cultures, but that's the beauty of humanity. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.